Hi guys! If you are new here, my name is Steph and I have bipolar disorder type 1. I do this channel to help people better understand bipolar disorder by using my own life examples and what I know about bipolar disorder, what I've learned thus far. Being that I've only been diagnosed 7 years ago, I really advocate for medication and I have a lot of experiences that can really be beneficial to a loved one. So if you're interested in those stories about mania, you can go to the homepage of my channel and there's a video there. Before I get started, I want to say that I got a product from Electrowave. Thank you so much. It is a grounding mat that you put on top of your bed. I loved it. I slept much better on it. Usually I wake up a few times in the middle of the night, but on the nights that I have slept on it, I have slept amazingly. So I highly recommend it. I will put a link below and let me know if you try it and what you think. So in today's video, I wanted to tell you guys about how I have this one particular trait that I do believe has a lot to do with my bipolar disorder and my problems controlling my mood at times. So I'm back at group. I had missed several days because of my back, and today's story is all about my back and how I completely lost it. And a little bit about what it felt like going home where I grew up. Totally aside from the subject, I want to give you guys something really cool that happened in group today. Well, I thought it was really cool. There was a question that was posed that I thought was a really interesting question because the way that people were answering it was so unique and different. And the question was, so I would love it if you put your comments below. If you were stuck in the mud, would you rather have your hand or your foot stuck, and why? We'll get right into it. Subscribe if you are interested in learning more about bipolar disorder today. So I went home to see my family and visit, and it was really nice. But before I went, I hurt my back in yoga and doing this pose called full wheel. And so I hurt my back. And then I went to sleep one night, and then the next day I had to travel for 5 hours in the car sitting down. And then Monday I was in excruciating pain because we had left on Friday night and we were leaving back to come home on Monday. I was in pain for several days. It was already super stressful. I have a lot of feelings about going to visit home. I hadn't been there since my mom died in 2020. I always think of her when, I had a lot of memories of her when we were driving through the towns and stuff, and memories of myself when I was younger, and memories of my dad and of my siblings, and of my home that I grew up in, like all kinds of memories when I go over there. And it's traumatic. It's very, very traumatic. So many memories that I have there are not good. And they're from when I was younger and struggling and not understanding living with bipolar disorder, that I had bipolar disorder, what was going on with me. Another problem was that I was hurt. I was really hurt. So I couldn't do anything. And like the place where I grew up is now like become like this cute little town where they have all these touristy shops and stuff. And I could have gone around and gone shopping and gone out to eat different places, but I couldn't do anything. I was immobilized by my back. Saturday, I had my family over to the Airbnb where we were staying, and we entertained them and spent time together, and it was really lovely. It was hard and stressful because my younger brother came up, and my younger brother and I have a strained relationship due to the fact that for over 20 years, I have been begging him to get help for his alcoholism and trying to get my family members to notice that he has a problem with alcohol and to get him help. And it just, he doesn't like me because of that fact. And I just want him to not die because I think that he's headed there, which is another reason that brings up a lot of trauma for me. So that happened. But overall, I had a really amazing time with my family. It's been really difficult. Our relationship has been super strained because of symptoms of my bipolar disorder, because of the way that I treated them in mania, because of the way that I have communicated with them in depression. So I love seeing family, but it's very stressful. But I'm not going to let it stop me from going to see my family. My little sister is pregnant, and this coming weekend she has a baby shower, which I'm going to, which I'm very, very excited about. So we drove over there Friday night, checked in, we hung out with family Friday night. Saturday, we had a barbecue with family that came over to the Airbnb because I was pretty much immobilized because I can't really like walk around or anything because I'm so hurt. I did try on Saturday and go buy a bunch of stuff to have, you know, hors d'oeuvres and stuff. I bought a bunch of fruit and other things, salad and stuff like that. And so I brought, you know, chips and dip. So I went and bought all this food, and I wore myself out on Saturday and hurt my back even more. So on Sunday, even though I slept a majority of the day, my back was killing me. It was totally killing me Sunday night. And then on Monday, it was me in the car and just insane pain. And so on Sunday, I blew up on my husband because I had overdone it on Saturday. I was tired. I felt like he was disregarding my mental health when it came to convenience for him because, and I don't want to sound selfish because I managed to get through this, but it does like kind of bring in imposter syndrome for me because just like I wouldn't take a red-eye flight, I wouldn't want to drive on very little sleep because I know I'm not going to go or take a trip, you know, like 5 hours, because I know I'm not going to be able to fall back asleep. And so my issue was I was upset that he wanted to leave so early in the morning, and he's like, well, you should have gone to bed earlier. But I can't really. I go to bed at a certain time. That's when I get tired. That's when I go to sleep. It's usually around 10 o'clock that I pass out. And if I go to sleep earlier than that, then it really messes with my sleep because I'll wake up at like 5 a.m. And then it's just, so I was like already crazy tired from not getting enough sleep, which is horrible for bipolar disorder and will most definitely bring about symptoms when you don't get enough sleep. So I blew up on him Sunday, and I was very, very symptomatic and very upset because of everything having to do with my brother. And then, you know, just the trauma of being up there, and, you know, hanging out with family is really lovely. But like I said, it can be really triggering. So, it was an amazing trip, but I came home on Monday and rode around in the car. So I was really awful to my husband on Sunday night, but he forgave me and then started to be really helpful, which was really helpful for me. But on Monday we got back, and I, rather than know how to verbalize, I want you to go to the urgent care with me, I went by myself and was kind of mad at my husband, and he's like, I'll go with you. But it was more like a, I'm willing to go with you type of thing, but I really don't want to go with you because like, he doesn't think like he should have to be subjected to the same frustration as waiting in urgent care for me. Which is fine. My husband's been there for me in the worst of times, and it is something that's not that serious that I could do on my own, but I don't want to. But I did it anyway. So for whatever reason, I got it in my head that my back was hurting so bad that I thought I might have fractured something. So I go to urgent care, and it says no x-rays here. So I go to the counter, the guy's like, just so you know, we don't do x-rays, and we'll refer you to the emergency room if you need one. And I'm like, okay, well, why don't I just go to the emergency room? Which was really stupid. I should have just been seen at urgent care. But I drove myself to the emergency room, saw the massive, massive line, was completely deflated and upset, and looked around and did not see anyone else there who wasn't there with a partner or a family. And so I got really upset and was like, because I was in so much pain. It felt like the time when I didn't have anyone and I broke my leg and I had to manage to get to the hospital on my own with a broken leg. So I got really upset. And so I'm sitting in the emergency room waiting to be seen about my back. And my back is just hurting more and more and more. And the pain is just, insane at this point. It was hurting the day before on Sunday. On Monday, I sat in the car all day and then went immediately to the emergency ER, or urgent care, and then the ER. So I'm waiting there. They take me and take my vitals, send me back to the waiting room. Then they take me again, ask me what's wrong with me, give me a muscle relaxer and some medicine, which I told them that try to give me Tylenol. And I'm like, Tylenol does not work for me. I've taken it. It doesn't do anything for me. She's like, well, we'll get a good cocktail for you going. And I'm like thinking, oh, well, maybe Tylenol mixed with the muscle relaxer will do something. So I take it. But in reality, that's BS. I should have just said, no, thank you. I don't need to mess up my stomach. Let me just take the muscle relaxer, because the Tylenol is going to do nothing for me. So I was in pain because I didn't verbalize properly to the nurse. And so then I'm sent back out to the waiting room. So I'm waiting again. And then they call me in and throw me in a different waiting room. And so I'm in so much pain at this point. I go up to the counter, ask them how many more people. And it sounds like there's like still going to be 2 people ahead of me. So I go back in and I'm literally like, I have to lay down. So I lay down on the floor. And then the nurse comes in and is like, try not to lay on the floor, as if like I'm some kind of kid or something, instead of saying, hey, are you okay? Like, is there a reason why you're laying on the floor? And I was so frustrated at that point. Like, the thought of standing up or sitting in a chair, waiting for even 5 minutes longer was unbearable to me. So I was like, I'm out of here, got up and left. And I shouldn't have done that. There were a few people ahead of me, but I was so upset with Jeff. I was so upset with my pain that I just bolted. And this is something that I do in my life and have done throughout my life, is bolt when things get hard. And I know part of it is learned behavior, and I know part of it is living with bipolar and having such extreme moods and not being able to control them, that when things get rough, all I know how to do is run away. Since I've been diagnosed, I've tried to become more and more self-aware and recognize my weaknesses and where I have issues. For example, I would go manic in a city, and after I had my first episode in the town that I grew up on, I could not wait to leave that town. I had to get out of there. After my junior high school, after my parents got divorced and I started having problems in school, I couldn't wait to run away from that school and go to a different school. And so I did. So my whole life I've kind of run away from things like that. But the hospital was an outburst. It was me having too much. I bolted out of the emergency room bawling and ran to my car and called Jeff and was like, I can't do this anymore, and screaming and yelling, and you should have been here for me, and just going nutso on him. And so I came home and he talked to me and said that he would go with me to urgent care, that I should go to urgent care the next day because urgent care was going to be closed at that point. So we worked it out, but you can imagine it's really difficult for my partner to deal with me and my moods and, my pain on top of that, and not getting enough sleep, because travel is hard for people with bipolar disorder. When our sleep gets thrown out of whack, it throws off everything. And it's hard to live such a strict, regimented life. That's something as so crucial as your sleep being consistent in the exact same amount of hours every night, and going to sleep at the same time and waking up at the same time can so dramatically affect you. It really sucks, but it's true, and that's how it is. And so I'm grateful that my husband is really patient with that. But I did go to urgent care. I finally got some medicine. I got some very strong ibuprofen and a muscle relaxer, and so I feel much better today. Yeah, so things are okay. I'm gonna make it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped. I will see you next time. Bye.